Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be another analysis video. So this is where I go a little more into depth, perhaps on theory, the production of the song, kind of what I think worked in the song, potentially what I think didn't work, and kind of go from there. So this week I'm going to be doing Do It by Chloe and Halle. They are amazing musicians. This song I've been a fan of for years now, and at one point it was a really huge single of theirs, and I think it's still their biggest single. But yeah, let's just dive straight in. We're going to go section by section, and then I'll go from there.
Yeah, I beat my face, moving fast 'cause the Uber on the way. Taking pictures, make sure you can't see no less. That wig secure like the money in a safe. I look like babe, now I'm on the way. Let you know when I'm about a mile away. When I'm outside, please don't make me wait. The party's starting when we pull up to the gate. Girl, we so late.
Okay, so that was the intro and the first verse. The intro, I love that little synth, that synth that comes in and out. It gives the song more movement because it sounds like it's just one synth. So I like that little wavy kind of movement. And then just some of the ad-libs that they're adding at the beginning before the first verse. And then obviously they have a couple little transitional noises and swells that go into the verse, which moves a nice transition into the next section. The chords basically for the whole song is F minor 9, E flat major 9 to C7, and then it loops again. That's pretty much the whole song. Some people might be like, how can you do a song with only 3 chords? But for pop songs, often it's only 4 chords the whole song, or even in this case, 3 chords. But adding the 9th to the first chord and the second chord adds a lot of color to the chords themselves instead of it just being F minor and that's it. It adds for those who aren't crazy into theory, it's basically the 9 is the second note in that chord scale. Instead of doing F, A, C, it's F, G, A, C. And then for E, it's E, G, B. Well, E flat, G, B flat in this case. So E flat, F, G, B flat. So it adds the 9th. And then usually when you add the 9th, you also add the 7th of the chord, which also adds more rich color to it instead of it just being straight up minor chord, straight up major chord. And then it goes into the C7. So for those who want to know, this song is in the key of E flat major. So we start with the 2 minor 9, which is F minor 9. So if it's E flat major, the second degree in that scale is F, so that would be hence you get the number 2 minor 9 for that chord. Then it goes to 1, which is E flat major 9, and then 5 of 2. So a common way to transition from the end of a phrase or chord progression to the next the beginning of the chords again, is usually it's a common progression to have the 5 chord of a key that goes straight into the 1 chord. So in this case, we're doing C7, was essentially a borrowed chord because C7 is not in the key of E flat. However, the first chord in this progression is F minor 9. So we're borrowing from the key of F now. So the 5th of F is C, and that's how you get the C7 of F9. So that's the 5 of 2. That's a short explanation of the chord progression itself. I love the energy of this song, by the way. Chloe and Halle don't use a ton of notes in the verse. I mean, it's very, repeating the same notes, going down to a different note, doing that again. And then the next phrase, they change it on the third one to give a little bit of movement. But it works really well because it's supposed to be light. It's supposed to be simple, but it's still groovy. It still works well. And so I think they match the vibe of the song very well with their voices. Their voices are very light, very, agile, and it's not heavy. You don't lay it on too much. They use head voice and a lot of air. So I think it works great for the song. And I also love that they use some backing vocals already in the first verse. I think it adds to the song nicely in spaces where there is kind of more space in between the main vocals. I think it complements it well. Okay, let's get to the pre-chorus now.
I'm just with the crew. We ain't out here looking for boo. Cause some nights be better with you. It's a homies only kind of mood. And tonight we on 100. No drama, no baby, my boss keeping it.
So this is kind of the classic pre-chorus of a lot of songs where most of the drums kind of drop out and it's very much just vocals. The notes are longer, if you notice, versus the first verse. It's very short and light, and this is longer notes, more drawn out. That also makes a difference in the energy. So it's very obvious that you know you're in a different section, which is great, especially, you know, you're just trying to break up the song structure a little bit. So there's really only hi-hats going throughout this the first part of the pre-chorus, and then it goes and adds a little bit of a snap on 2 and 4. That's also very common, adding a little bit more energy as far as the drums go. In the second half of the pre-chorus, all the way up until the chorus, there's obviously a transition. So there's an uplifter that goes into the chorus. It's very classic and a great transition. Yeah, I love that they use a lot of backing vocals for a lot of this song, but especially this pre-chorus. They're echoing the last word of the phrase. They're really emphasizing those rhymed words at the end of phrases, which makes it stronger. It makes it easier for the listener to hear and notice. These small details add a lot to the song. As far as I'll start with the energy chart that I usually think about a lot in songs. Is typically there's certain energy levels that you kind of go back and forth between throughout a whole song, and it really depends on the song and how it's structured, but different energy levels are really required throughout every song. Not necessarily, this is absolutely subjective, but I find that a lot of songs that are popular and effective always have different energies and at different sections. So the verse was pretty chill, it's pretty medium, and then when we get to the chorus, the energy certainly dips because we're doing long notes, no drums really in the beginning, and it's a slow build up back up to medium, and then the chorus is higher energy. So just keep that in mind as you listen to songs if you want to study why they work, how they work, especially if you want to learn how to write songs yourself. The energy is something that I can't emphasize enough, because it doesn't matter how many instruments you put in a chorus. If it doesn't work and it doesn't add to the energy of that section, then it won't work. So it's a matter of really feeling that energy and using instrumentation to create that energy, not just throwing the instruments on top to make a bigger sound. Let's go from there.
You, that's just what I do, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, you like it what I do, know how to keep it cool, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, and you can do it too,
Yeah, love that chorus. First thing I'll note is, again, they go back to that light touch type of vocals, a very light staccato energy. The synth is long and wavy, it works well, and then the vocals sitting on top, just very light and short. There's more drums, the 808's in, so there's more instrumentation. First of all, the notes that they're singing are higher than the rest of the song thus far. So that also is very common for getting higher energy, is using higher notes, so you know that's really where the hook of the song is. And I also like the first half of the chorus. The backing vocals really don't have extra notes. They're either singing the unison, the same note, or the octave below or the octave above. So it really emphasizes that melody for the chorus. And that's what people are going to be singing most at concerts. So that's a very good, useful tool to really hone in and kind of hammer in that melody into people's heads, basically. And then the second half of the chorus, they add more depth by adding more vocals that are different notes. They add harmonies. And overall, it's a really, really great light chorus. Also, side note, I love that, like, that run down the end of the phrase. The notes themselves are going down towards something is a great lead in down into that lower energy of the next verse. I love that transition, and it's a favorite of mine that I always sing along with, you know, when I listen to it. Let's get into the second verse.
Place. Left the heels at home, I'm on my sneaker game. He say, where you from? Tell him out of space. Cause the back the only thing I'm trying to chase. I'm in my head. Just tell the DJ, press play, rewind, keep it on repeat. Tiptoe around a hater, I'm light on my feet. That's how you do it, keep stunting on your enemies. Good vibes only. I'm just with the
Yeah, I love this second verse. It's a little higher in energy than the first one, which is typically good, and there's more backing vocals throughout the whole second verse. A lot more harmonies along with the vocals, as well as kind of call and response little, you know, ad libs here and there, which is very common, especially in electronic and modern pop music. It's it fills the space in more. It adds a little more to listen to, a little bit more depth and texture as well. But that second half of the verse, when they change the melody to those octave leaps, there are insane vocalists, because that is really hard to do, those really accurate and light vocals. Especially doing it that light, doing that really head voice down to the correct note, back up to that head voice, and doing that. And also the articulation is very short. That is very impressive to me. But also it adds to that energy of the lightness, because it's literally such a large leap. They're like bouncing back and forth, but it's very light bounce. And the notes that they chose, the articulation that they chose, just adds to the lightness of that song really, really well. But I also like that the backing vocals in the second half, they're a little longer, they're softer, as opposed to that short staccato main vocals. It adds a little bit of lushness to that part as well, because it's still supposed to be a smooth song, just lighter, but still smooth. So I think that's they did a great job at really thinking about the energy of the song, what they wanted to convey, and really honing in on that as far as the backing vocals and the main vocals.
just with the crew. We're out here looking for boo. But some nights be better with you. It's a hopey, lonely kind of mood. And tonight we on 100. Now drop off, no baby, my boss keeping it cute.
Yeah, the second pre-chorus is almost the same. It's basically the same, but again, it's a little bit higher in energy than the first pre-chorus. There's a lot more backing vocals, and I really like that the backing vocals shorten up quite a bit when it gets to the ho mi so ni kainam. You know, the ho mi, they're singing really short in that section, so the backing vocals match that in the short articulations, whereas the beginning of that pre-chorus and the end of that pre-chorus is very long, very drawn out as the first pre-chorus. So that switch up in articulation worked really well, and then they transition back into that long notes again, and then they're going to go into that short thing in the chorus. So that little midsection of just the attention to detail for the backing vocals to match what the main vocals are doing, or even opposed to kind of add more, like in the previous verse, is very smart and well thought out. Let's go into the last chorus.
That's just what I do, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, you like it what I do, know how to keep it cool, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, and you can do it too, that's just what I do, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, you like it what I do, know how to keep it cool, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, and you can do it too, yeah, that's just how we do it.
Yeah, that last chorus is great. So again, this chorus is more energy, a little more energy than the previous chorus. It adds more backing vocals as another element. There's more going on as far as all the parts that the backing vocals are doing. So there's a lot more going on at the last chorus, but it complements the song well, and it really brings up the energy to this is the last chorus. And then I like that it ends kind of just with this like halftime groove, and they're just ad-libbing, and it kind of goes out from there. Overall, I think this song is great at honing in on how much energy they want for each section and how they're going to do that with the composition and the production of the song, especially with the backing vocals, the articulations, what kind of synths they're using, also the amount of drums they put into each section. The song does perfectly. The song is exactly what, a chill, vibey summer song really should be, as far as, in my opinion, as far as energy goes. So yeah, overall, this energy chart is kind of, so the first verse is medium, then the pre-chorus goes down, then the chorus goes higher, and then it goes down again for the second verse, but it's not as low as the first verse. And then the second pre-chorus, not as low as the first, and then the final chorus is the highest energy that we have. The hook, the melodies, they're very simple, they're very short, there's not a lot of notes, but the composition of it made it sound almost different each section. The same, but different enough where listeners don't get bored. So that's exactly what, as a writer, the goal is to have a catchy hook. But when you bring back the hook the second time, it shouldn't be exactly the same. It's a saying where, no two sections should be exactly the same. So that's something to keep in mind as well if you're writing, or you just kind of want to get into depth and kind of analyze songs more. These are all things to think about. You can get as technical as you want, like the chords and the theory of it, but I tend to focus on the energy of the song more, because that's what listeners are listening for. They're not listening for the 2-5-1, and all of that, and they're not listening to find the flat 9 of the chord. That's not what average listeners are really going for. They're going for the vibe, they're going for the energy, they're just listening for fun. It's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be not necessarily easy to listen to, but they're doing it for the most part, enjoyment, because they like the song. So it's really just about the energy and how it makes you feel and how it makes the listener feel. So you can get as technical as you want with mixing, production, writing, theory, all of that. But you can be great at all that, but still miss the energy of the song, still really miss getting the main goal of what you want to portray to the audience. So these are all things to keep in mind. I do want to preface all that I'm saying right now is purely my opinion. So obviously everyone is welcome to their own opinion. No one has to agree with me. There's always room for discussion and things like this, because at the end of the day, it's art. And as much as I'm analyzing this, it's still art. So even songs that I may not like, someone else might love. So at the end of the day, it's up to personal preference. Don't forget that, okay? So this is all just a little bit like, this is my 2 cents, okay? So take with that what you will. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next week.